The Pittsburgh Steelers just haven't been able to get it right at the quarterback position since Ben Roethlisberger walked away from the game. The legendary signal caller gave the team nearly 2 decades of stability, leadership, and championship contention, but ever since his retirement following the 2021 season, the Steelers have found themselves spinning in circles. Every attempt to secure a successor has either fallen flat or brought only fleeting optimism, with no real foundation laid for the future. Multiple winding roads, multiple experiments, and multiple hopeful starts have all somehow led them to the same destination, back to square one. The most recent string of attempts to solve the problem began with Kenny Pickett. The former Pitt standout was viewed as a safe, local pick. He wasn't flashy, but he was mature, polished, and seemed to embody the blue-collar identity of the Steel City. His first few appearances offered glimmers of hope, sharp throws, fourth-quarter comebacks, and moments of poised leadership. But the consistency never came. Injuries, offensive dysfunction, and coaching instability all played a role in his stalled development, and by the end of the 2024 season, the Steelers had seen enough. Pickett's tenure was over not with a bang, but with a resigned sigh from fans who once hoped he could be the next great number 7. Next came a pair of high-profile but ultimately unfulfilling acquisitions, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Both were brought in under the premise of rejuvenating their careers and bringing some level of veteran competence to the huddle. But neither player found their footing in Pittsburgh. Wilson, once one of the NFL's most efficient and dangerous quarterbacks, looked like a shell of himself, hesitant, inaccurate, and indecisive behind an inconsistent offensive line. Fields, known for his athleticism and arm talent, never truly acclimated to the Steelers' system. His play remained erratic, his reads delayed, and his impact minimal. By the time the offseason arrived, both were gone, Wilson to the New York Giants, Fields to the New York Jets, and the Steelers were, once again, quarterback-less. That leaves Pittsburgh entering the 2025 offseason with a quarterback room headlined by Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. For a franchise that has won 6 Super Bowls and prides itself on being a perennial contender, that is a hard pill to swallow. Rudolph is steady but uninspiring, a backup-caliber passer with limited upside. Thompson, meanwhile, remains a developmental project, someone who can operate the offense in a pinch but is far from a franchise centerpiece. For Steelers fans, there's little excitement in either name. No promise. No future. Just placeholders. Some cling to hope that the answer might come from the upcoming NFL draft, though it is widely considered one of the weaker quarterback classes in recent memory. While there are intriguing prospects, like Shedeur Sanders and Jalen Milroe, there's no consensus can't-miss name atop the list. Even if the Steelers manage to select a quarterback they like, the question becomes whether that pick is truly part of a long-term plan or just another roll of the dice. Recognizing the pattern of uncertainty, Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox has proposed a bold alternative, trade for Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis. It's a move that would come with both promise and peril, but one that, at the very least, represents an attempt to shake up the status quo. Levis' skill set could mesh with offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who found success with dual-threat quarterback Justin Fields early last season, Knox wrote. Levis isn't nearly as dynamic of a runner as Fields is, but he can scramble well enough to keep defenses honest. His arm strength would also allow Pittsburgh to stretch the field with receivers George Pickens and DK Metcalf. There's no denying that Levis has tools. He's big, physical, and has one of the strongest arms in the NFL among young quarterbacks. He can make all the throws, deep outs, posts, fades, without needing to strain his mechanics. He's mobile enough to extend plays and has the toughness to absorb hits in the pocket. In his best moments, he looks the part of a franchise quarterback. But those moments have been rare. In his rookie campaign with the Titans, Levis showed flashes, including a 4-touchdown debut. But he also displayed poor decision-making, accuracy issues, and a tendency to lock onto his first read. His development stagnated in Tennessee's conservative offense, and with the Titans leaning toward rebuilding under a new coaching staff, there's speculation that Levis could be available. It's an optimistic view, and in his potential bright moments, that is what a good Levis era in Pittsburgh would look like: vertical strikes to Pickens, improvisational plays on the move, and a confident quarterback willing to challenge opposing defenses. But is that version of Levis realistic? Or is it a mirage built on 1 or 2 good games amid a sea of average to poor performances? That's the crux of the issue. Even if the Steelers were to acquire Levis, or draft a quarterback this week, or land a different veteran via trade, the result is the same: more questions than answers. Every move at quarterback right now feels like a lateral shift. Nothing provides clarity. Nothing provides certainty. There is no quarterback currently available who provides the long-term foundation that this team has lacked since Roethlisberger left. And that's where the frustration lies for fans and observers alike. The Steelers have done so many things right in recent years. They've rebuilt their wide receiver room into one of the league's best, pairing George Pickens' explosiveness with DK Metcalf's physicality. They have a two-headed backfield capable of moving the chains and a defense anchored by perennial All-Pro TJ Watt. They have secondary pieces, special teams talent, and coaching experience. By all accounts, this is a roster that should be competing for playoff spots and pushing for deep January runs. But without a quarterback, none of that matters. It's a harsh reality in today's NFL. Quarterback is the single most important position in sports, and without one, even great teams become average. The Steelers have lived in that limbo for 3 seasons now. Sometimes the defense carries them. Sometimes the run game sparks a win. But it's never sustainable. And it never feels like it's building towards something meaningful. Trading for Levis would be a swing, not a home run swing, perhaps, but at least a cut with intent. But the cost must be considered. What would Pittsburgh give up for a quarterback who is still unproven, still developing, and may never fully pan out? A second-round pick? A third? Are the Steelers willing to part with that kind of capital for another gamble? That's the question that must be asked. Because while the upside exists, the risk is significant. And for a franchise that has built its identity on patience, development, and continuity, it may be a gamble that goes against its DNA. It's hard to fall on the side of making such a move. Continuing to plug the hole with temporary solutions will not translate to long-term success. The Steelers need a plan. Not a placeholder. Not a project. A plan. A vision. A strategy for building around a quarterback who fits their system, who can grow with their roster, and who can become the face of the franchise for the next decade. Until that happens, the short-term frustrations will continue. And each new season will be viewed through the cloudy lens of uncertainty at the most important position on the field. Steelers fans are loyal, passionate, and deeply connected to the history of their team. They've seen legends under center. They know what it looks like when that position is right. And they can feel when it isn't. Right now, it isn't. And unless the Steelers are willing to commit, not just to a player, but to a process, the revolving door at quarterback will keep spinning, and the destination will remain the same. Back to the beginning. Back to square one.